The following is an excerpt from the Brain Gain Youngstown Leadership Series. The new podcast features conversations with local leaders who are focused on building a culture of entrepreneurship and promoting workforce development.
We share this methodology, beg for forgiveness, don't ask permission. So what do you think the pros and cons are of that approach?
Well, I don't want people to work scared.
Right.
I don't want people to feel they can't do something and I'm going to be calling them on the carpet every time they do. So I think if they ask for permission, one, it's going to drive me crazy because it's going to be in my office all the time. And I'm like, you have to make calls.
Right.
You have to make decisions. I trust you. I trust. There has to be a trust for me to them and them feeling that I made a call today. He may not agree with it, but he's going to respect that I had to make a decision. So, I guess to a certain degree that maybe some people that would prefer to know everything up front, you may be avoiding mistakes or you're avoiding maybe a pitfall of in my business upsetting a donor.
Right.
But that's okay. I mean, I think if to me, I think number one thing is trust, and I don't ever want my staff to work scared that they can't go do their job because every move they make is going to be put under a microscope.
Right. Well, and the culture you've built is one that you've reinforced this simply by the way your behavior and the way you support the team. It's an environment of trust and an environment of even to agree to disagree, I'm sure.
Yes, and this, right? Several times we do. And I tell them when we're in a staff meeting, we may all have a different opinion. But in the end, I'll probably have to listen to all the opinions and make a decision, but we're all on the same team when we leave here.
Right.
One day we struggled with that a little bit, and I said, listen, if Bill Belichick tells Tom Brady, we're going to run the ball every play Sunday, Brady may go, you're out of your mind. At the end of the day, Belichick's the coach.
Right.
And then he has to answer to that. My point was, we may not always agree on how we're going to proceed strategically, but we have to be unified. I don't want to hear on the street, this Success After 6 program, it's not going to work. How are you going to get these kids to come, blah, blah. I don't want to hear that on the street, because once we agree, then we're all on the same team. So I like good debate in a staff meeting.
Right.
But after, when we decide on our game plan moving forward, we need to all agree.
Right, agree and commit and move forward. That's good. Well, so speaking of rounding back to this notion of leadership mistakes, I mean, is there any example you have of, say, something that was very instructive in your life from a leadership mistake standpoint?
Yeah, I would say early on at United Way, I probably didn't do a good enough job when I interviewed potential employees on expectations and goals and style, and maybe I took it for granted that they knew. I really think the Maxwell philosophy helped me have a clearer vision on what I needed, how to work with people. And like Maxwell's a philosophy, not everybody believes it. I think that's the way organizations can be run and should be run. So I probably early on, when I started, I turned over some staff quickly.
Right.
But it was probably me hiring poorly because I didn't do a good enough job of bringing in people that fit the culture. So I was young at hiring. In TV there was me and one other person, so that was on me, that I needed to maybe get experienced and get more comfortable in what I needed. I was determined. I'm going to hire seasoned fundraising professionals.
Right.
Well, the last 4 people I hired had no fundraising experience. What they could do is communicate.
Mm-hmm.
They were good writers. They could think quickly on their feet, and they mostly had a passion for United Way. And they weren't just coming in for another job and their next job will be climbing the ladder. I think they have to have a passion and believe in the work we're doing.
The interview you just watched is an excerpt from the Brain Gain Youngstown Leadership Series. The new podcast features conversations with local leaders who are focused on building a culture of entrepreneurship and promoting workforce development.
BusinessJournalDaily.com 3 Minutes With is brought to you by Farmers National Bank.
I like a bank that's a pillar in my community.
I like a bank so cutting edge, they have a lab branch.
We are so alike.
Well, we do both bank at Farmers National Bank.
Farmers.
Stand strong.